Hello everyone, this is in-depth analysis by Arinze. US delegates for Russia and Ukraine war met on 18th February for peace talks in Ukraine war. According to US delegates, it is more like a preliminary discussion to set up talks for the main dialogue to end the war and also to arrange President Putin and President Trump's meeting. These are the delegates involved in the talks to end the war. On the left, you have Marco Rubio, US Secretary of State, Mike Waltz, US National Security Advisor, and Steve Witkoff, Trump's Special Envoy. Then in the middle, you have the hosts, Saudi Arabian Foreign Minister and Saudi Arabian National Security Advisor. And on the right, you have Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, and Putin's Foreign Policy Advisor. You know, I said earlier, the meeting was more like a step in outlining major topics to be discussed during the main peace talks. And US delegate Mike Waltz said the main topics to be focused on would be territory concessions and peace guarantees.
Well, there are some underlying principles. This needs to be a permanent end to the war and not a temporary end as we've seen in the past. We know just the practical reality is that there is going to be some discussion of territory and there's going to be discussion of security guarantees.
They also talked about post-Ukraine conflict like lifting sanctions, economic cooperation, and investment opportunities. So clearly with this new development, what do you see? The plan of Europe, Ukraine, and former US President Joe Biden to isolate Russia in Western Hemisphere or global stage has failed, and this is a clear win for Russian President Vladimir Putin. Before he invaded Ukraine, he knew the West will oppose him and fight back, but he was counting in their inability to be united in the confrontation. For the past 3 years, it seemed as if he made a wrong calculation, but new cracks are beginning to show in the West confrontation. So the question is, what happens next? In the meeting among US and Russian delegates, they agreed to keep holding talks concerning Ukraine war and US relations with Russia in timely and productive manner. The Russian delegates praised Trump's team for dishing Joe Biden's position as both now wants to end the war and normalize relations. Russia's Foreign Minister Lavrov stated, Russia will not tolerate any Ukraine NATO membership and any NATO nation army in Ukraine under any flag, peace flag or national flag.
We explained today the appearance of armed forces from NATO countries under a foreign flag, under the flag of the European Union or under national flags does not change anything in this regard. This is of course unacceptable to us.
This comes amid Trump's push for NATO and non-NATO army to be stationed in Ukraine to provide security guarantees. In all this, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky said he does not know anything concerning the meeting and will not take part in it. He also reiterated, any deal made behind our back is not acceptable by Ukraine.
Ukraine will not take part in the talks in Saudi Arabia. Ukraine did not know anything about them. Ukraine regards any negotiations on Ukraine without Ukraine as ones that have no result. And we cannot recognize any agreements about us made without us, and will not recognize such agreements.
You know, yesterday Zelensky was in UAE to seek for more economic ties and support from the nation. He was supposed to travel to Saudi Arabia from there, but he cancelled the plan due to US and Russia meeting in Riyadh and went to Ankara, Turkey, to seek for more economic and military support from Erdogan, Turkish president. Zelensky wants Turkey to be one of the mediators in the peace negotiations.
Considering the active diplomacy we have pursued in the last 3 years, our country will be an ideal host for the talks that will likely be held between Russia, Ukraine, and America in the coming period. In my meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, I expressed Turkey's strong support for Ukraine's territorial integrity, sovereignty, and independence. At the same time, I emphasized that we will provide all kinds of support to conclude the negotiation process with a lasting peace.
Zelensky is seeking an ironclad security guarantee since he will probably not be in NATO. Well, it depends on Russia to accept or decline it, given the fact they have said no NATO nation army in Ukraine. But they also hinted Ukraine is free to join any economic blocs like EU.
This is the sovereign right of any country. We are talking about integration and economic integration processes. And here, of course, no one can dictate anything to any country, and we are not going to do so. We do have completely different approach, though, to questions related to security and links to military and security alliances.
In all this, you might be asking yourself, what are the European Union doing? Well, they held a meeting in Paris to talk on what to do concerning Trump's move. Almost all the top EU leaders attended, and the meeting lasted for about 3 hours. They talked about increasing defense spending to 3% of their GDP, but they were divided in agreeing to that.
On defence, it's clear the US is not going to leave NATO. But we Europeans will have to do more. The issue of burden sharing is not new, but it is now pressing. And Europeans will have to step up, both in terms of spending and the capabilities that we provide.
We are all already committed to spending 2% of our economic output on defense in the long term. A few member states are not quite there yet, but they're on the way. However, it will be very important for the future of Europe that we enable everyone to do what is necessary for them.
They also talked about sending peacekeepers to Ukraine. UK Prime Minister suggested it. He said UK is willing to send 25,000 soldiers to enforce peace in Ukraine, but US must back them.
Europe must play its role. And I'm prepared to consider committing British forces on the ground alongside others if there is a lasting peace agreement. But there must be a US backstop, because a US security guarantee is the only way to effectively deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again.
Before we could even contemplate whether Trump will agree or not, some EU members disputed the idea and rejected it. German Chancellor called the idea premature. Poland did not want to be part of it. Italy questioned the idea, and Emmanuel Macron did not commit to it. So you can see a clear division in European Union, and they are playing right in Putin's hand. Well, we'll be following the whole situation to see where it leads. This is in-depth analysis by Arinze. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel for more information. Thank you.